And welcome. Good morning as we're doing it live on Saturday morning, but obviously you can listen to it anytime that you want after Saturday morning. I can see there's already people out there. Uh, the guy's already ripping Andy Reid. Come on now. It's just good morning to everybody. There's a lot to talk about today. It's me and it's you. And Marc Lawrence will join us to take a look at the college and the weekend of pro football. It's me and you this morning. So there's a lot to talk about. The Eagles won, but I know there's people out there that are not happy with some of the things that happened in the game, and the obvious one, and we will talk about that. But first, let me tell you, thanks to Stillwell Financial Advisors, many thanks, the presenting sponsor of the Howard Eskin Show, and Jeff Stillwell. I'll tell you, the future is uncertain in a lot of ways, but Jeff Stillwell can help you with your financial future. All you got to do is give him a call, talk to him, see what he's got to say. Great guy, really knows his stuff. There's his number, 732-343-0813. Stillwell Financial Advisors, 732-343-0813. All right, good morning. Obviously, the Jalen Carter situation, what an idiot. What an idiot. And I'm going to rip Seth Joyner too. I'm going to rip him. And you can tell him I ripped him because I'll tell him. I think I'm going to be on with him on Tuesday. I'm going to rip him. I never thought Seth Joyner was a kiss ass, but we'll deal with all that. We'll deal with the Eagles game. We'll deal with everything that happened on Thursday night. We'll deal with last night's Kansas City loss. By the way, you may be happy about that, but that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing for the Eagles because now they almost have to win the second game. The percentages of really either getting the first seed or making the playoffs, if you start the season 0-2, is not very good. All right. But first, let me tell you, and let me thank the other people that have partnered up with this show and are fine partners and friends. And that first one would be Piazza Property Pros. They can do so much with your property. I mean, look at the work they do. They really do a lot of great work. Whether it's the fire pit there, whether it's a little whirlpool thing, a hot tub, whatever it is, because Piazza Property Pros have 25 years of experience. Now, we know they can build you an in-ground pool because they've done a lot of them. I they're I stopped over there last week, busy as hell. Was it last week or this must have been last week? But anyway, stopped over, checked in, and everything's going great with Piazza Property Pros with 25 years of experience. And don't subcontract. You're getting good work. Skilled people, landscaping, pool maintenance, hardscaping, fencing, whatever you need, give them a call. 610-566-2608. That's 610-566-2608. And you can get a free consultation. PiazzaOutdoor.com. Also want to tell you, and now that we're into September, there is not much time left. And they're selling a lot of cars at Audi Westchester. And the electric cars, a deal you will not get again because this price will go away and very quickly. And the tax credits for electric cars go away at the end of the month. So right now you can get a 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron for $499 a month or an Audi Q4 e-tron for $399 a month. You'll need $5,295 down for the Q6, $4,156 down for the Q4 plus taxes and registration fees. Stop by. I was over there yesterday. Talked to the people. Things are really moving. There's a lot of inventory there, but the deals right now for the electric cars are not going to last long. Here's the location of the new facility. Stop over, grab a cup of coffee, get some snacks. 1421 Wilmington Pike. That's 1421 Wilmington Pike in Westchester. This special offer is not going to last long. The 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron for $499 a month, or the Audi Q4 e-tron for $399 a month. Check them all out. AudiWestchester.com. All right, let's get to the Eagles game. The first topic is they won the game. All right, we know they won the game. But the first, let's say 1A is Jalen Carter's stupidity. Stupidity. How can you lose control of yourself? Hey, listen, I'm not a big fan of Dak Prescott as a quarterback, but I know for a fact he actually is a good guy, a straight up guy. He's a good guy. He's an honest guy. So let's put that aside. First, and I'm going to get some people on before we go to Mark Lawrence, but let's hear first from Dak Prescott explaining the situation.
I don't wish for anybody to get out of the game. I'm sure he probably regrets that to some extent. I'm pretty sure he knows I didn't try to spit on him or wasn't even aiming to spit on him. So something that's probably going to get a lot of coverage and a lot of attention that I feel sorry for him in the sense of, I know how excited each and every one of us are, right, to kick off the season and the season opener, and hell of a player like that doesn't even get a chance in the first play. Unfortunate circumstances.
How did you keep your composure in that situation? Because we saw you just motion to the ref. Did you see what he just did?
Yeah, I was more surprised. I mean, honestly, it hit me more on my shirt of my collar, I guess, than straight skin, and thankfully. But yeah, I was just more surprised. I mean, like I said, I was insulted that he even thought I tried to spit on him. So for him to react and spit, I'm sure it's not something he's proud of.
You know what? That was an explanation. He had a deeper explanation. He didn't try to spit on him. First of all, Jaylen Carter's not supposed to walk up to the other team's huddle. It was past the line of scrimmage. What are you doing? What are you doing? It just, I don't even know. But Dak Prescott explained it a little differently in this comment from Dak Prescott.
Trolling, I guess you could say, trying to mess with Tyler Booker. I was just looking at him. I was right here by the two linemen, and yes, I needed to spit, and I wasn't going to spit on my lineman. I just spit ahead, but I'd say he was back there where Jory was in that sense, and he asked, or he goes, "You trying to spit on me?" At that point, I felt like he was insulting me. I wouldn't spit on somebody. I'm damn sure not trying to spit on you. We're about to play a game. I'm wondering why you're trying to mess with the rookie. So when I stepped through, I actually said the words what the hell would but I'm probably even more colorful. What would I need to spit on you for? And he just spit on me in that moment. And it was more of a surprise than anything. Refs obviously saw it through the flag. I was like, hell yeah, we get 15 yards to start the game off. Didn't realize he was getting ejected. Unfortunate that he did. Hell of a player. Changed our plan and our blocking scheme. As I told y'all right before the week that we're going to protect against him. So helped in that manner, but I don't wish for anybody to get out of the game. I'm sure he probably regrets that to some extent. I'm pretty sure he knows I didn't try to spit on him or wasn't even aiming to spit on him. So something that's probably going to get a lot of coverage and a lot of attention that I feel sorry for him.
You know what's amazing? What is Jalen Carter thinking about? The guys spit all the time, but they don't spit on people. It's just, and when he told him, he didn't try to spit at him, or I believe him. I believe him. And Jalen Carter, let's quickly play Jalen Carter's comment after the game. He admitted his mistake.
I wanted to be out there with the guys so bad, and just to support and help, even just standing on the sideline. But things went how it went. We just got to move on. I made a promise to them boys it won't happen again.
Did Jack say anything, or was there anything that just made you walk over there?
I don't know. When things started to come out and you start seeing things, then we can go off that. But I don't got nothing to say about it. I'm just trying to make sure the team's straight.
Okay, you admitted your mistake, but why did you do it in the first place? It's just what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? It's just, and I said, Seth Joyner commented, I saw him somewhere on one of his shows. He's got 100 of them. I saw him on one of his shows. He said, Well, it's just if they do anything to Jalen Carter, they should do the same thing to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott didn't spit at him or on him. I mean, I never Seth Joyner was never a kiss ass, but in his defending Jalen Carter that way, he was a kiss ass. And you can tell him I said that, and I'll tell him when I talk to him. He's a kiss ass. You can't blame Dak Prescott for Jalen Carter's stupidity. All right. Marc Lawrence will join us shortly. Now, if you want to join the program, there's a link that's up on the social media platforms. Make sure you don't have to have the camera on, but make sure the microphone doesn't have a red line through it. And then when you join, allow your microphone and your camera, but at least allow your microphone. All right. I believe we have a caller. What's that? Okay, he left. Oh, he doesn't have audio. When you, this is not rocket science. This is why I call some of the people, I won't call you an idiot yet, but this is why I call some of the people idiots. There's a microphone there, and there's a microphone. If it's got a red line through it, when you click on, click it and the red line will come off and you have audio. And then when you click onto the link, make sure that you allow your microphone and your camera. It's pretty simple. I see. I see. Silvio says Dak Prescott started that. Howard, I saw it. He didn't start anything. First of all, the player's not supposed to come up to his huddle. Dak Prescott didn't start anything. Guys spit all the time, but he wasn't spitting at Jalen Carter. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I see mullet petition for Alvarado with audio, nitwits. See, he's telling you, put audio in there when you have that. By the way, one of the things that's kind of lost in the shuffle after a game, because after a game, the Eagles don't have to announce their injuries. The coach is never going to say it. I think you got to worry about Landon Dickerson a little bit, and that would be an issue. And we'll talk more about the game. I just they need some help on defense. First of all, they needed a pass rush, and they didn't have it. But they need some help on defense for sure. Absolutely, they're one of their. Their corner, Quinyon Mitchell's good. He's fine, but they need help at the other corner spot. They really do. And by the way, I beat Seth Joyner. He gave me 100-1 odds that the Eagles players would be out there for the banner drop. Well, they weren't out there, and the money goes to charity. I bet $1, so I win $100, and I'm going to donate that. I'm going to split it up between Brandywine Valley SPCA and Providence Animal Centers. That money will go to some good things, and I use the donations for those that I get. And this will be another part of the donations. He lost that too, so he's a double loser, and I'll tell him he's a double loser. All right, Marc Lawrence knows how to join the program because he knows that you got to have your microphone on, and if you want your camera on, you can put your camera on, but you got to have the microphone because we've got to be able to hear you. And I believe Marc Lawrence is there. How are you, Marc?
Howard, is my microphone on?
Yeah, your microphone's on. Do you believe some of these people can't figure that out? It is so easy to click onto the link. I'm telling you, you could get a first grader to be able to do it. Just tell the first grader what you got to do. Join with your microphone and your camera, and if you see the red line through your microphone, click it, and then the audio's on. Isn't that so simple?
The same thing for the sound for the mute. Exactly.
It's unbelievable. All right. So now we got a full weekend of football with the pros joining the fray. It's games every day anyway. But it's just, by the way, I said earlier before you came on, that loss by Kansas City is not good for the Eagles. I don't know what the trends say, but when you go 0-2 to start a season, if in fact you go 0-2, your chances are reduced to make the playoffs. So Kansas City plays the Eagles next week, and they really, really can't go 0-2. Forget about the bye in the first seed if you go 0-2. But if they go 0-2, they're in trouble. That is not a good sign for the Eagles. But we'll get to that shortly. All right. So let's start with the college football. Who do you like?
I'm gonna look at the week now. We're getting into some pretty meaty games, although there could be a better card this week. There's not a lot of real good, what I would call top 25 matchups this week. But I'm going to pick out one that is, and I'm going to pick out another dog that I think is live that has the potential to pull a major upset today.
Okay.
Both with revenge. First is Iowa, the Hawkeyes, taking 3.5 against Iowa State. Iowa State started the season in Ireland, got off to the good start, although they won the game inside out. Didn't win the stats, but won the game. But you've got an Iowa football team here that does really, really well in this series. They've won 6 times in a row in games at Iowa State. Real familiar with the surroundings. The head coach, Kirk Ferentz, I think is the biggest edge in the game. I like Iowa State, or I say Iowa, plus the 3.5 against
Okay.
Iowa State. Give me the dog.
Iowa's the side you like. All right.
Yeah.
Who else do you like?
The other guy's a little bit of an ugly dog, but I think a dog that could scare. And I'm going to play South Florida today and take 18 points against the Florida Gators. This is a really ideal setup if you take a look at the way these two teams come into the game. You've got in South Florida, you got a football team with double revenge. They just beat Boise State. The confidence is as high as it can possibly be for this team right now. On the flip side, you're talking about a Florida football team who has got LSU up on deck next week. And now you've got the little redheaded stepchild in South Florida taking 18 points from the big brother from Florida here. I think they will take Florida right down to the wire in this football game. I like South Florida plus the points is a pretty good play.
All right, you mentioned look ahead, and because nobody, a lot of these big schools are playing high school teams now, which is a disgrace. At Penn State, I mean, how many high school teams do you have to play in a season to build up your win total? I mean, it's a joke. But is there any other? Are there any other teams that may be looking ahead? That's a good point with Florida looking ahead to LSU. How can they get up for South Florida when you got LSU on deck? But those kind of things sometimes are a factor, especially when you're playing a bad team. And the other part of that is you don't want to show everything because you're going to beat them. So you're probably not going to show everything for on your offense because you're going to save it for the better teams. So is there any other teams that you see that
Howard, I'm looking at the schedule now as we're talking, and obviously I went right to the one that stood out, and that's the Florida Gators with LSU. That might be the best game on the card next week. And we're still into the early stages of the season where there aren't a lot of marquee games per se. Great question. I love to tackle that every week when we do that. That's one of our first looks. But the truth be known, there aren't a whole lot of look-ahead type games on the card this week other than just that. I got to put them right at the top of the ladder.
Okay. Somebody on the chat line here, Virginia Tech, Vanderbilt. I'll say Vanderbilt's a better team over the last couple of years. Do you like a side in that game?
I like Vanderbilt. This quarterback is really special. He transferred in from New Mexico State, and he can play. We saw last year there's a reason their head coach was voted Southeast Conference Coach of the Year last year at Vanderbilt. Clark Lay, he's done a great job with his football program here. And you've got Virginia Tech, a football team here, I think is may or may not be a bowl team, but Vanderbilt may win more games than they lose this year. They did that last year. They're going to do it this year. I think the wrong team is favored here. Anytime you can get a Southeast Conference team as a dog to a team from a smaller conference, you have to take a look. I think Vanderbilt has to be the side in the game.
Okay. I take this with a bit of sarcasm. I guess Oklahoma's probably looking ahead to Temple next week.
A lot of sarcasm, yes.
You know what? Temple schedules Oklahoma. They're playing Howard today. They're playing a high school team. They're playing Howard today. And, hey, listen, everybody plays some bad teams, but the fact that they got Oklahoma, so there's probably a 2-for-1 in that scheduling thing where they probably have to go out to Oklahoma twice, when you're playing those kind of schools. But they'll actually have a good crowd next week for the Oklahoma game. I can't see the game even being. I just curious that line, even though it's here in Philadelphia, that line's got to be 20 something easy, I would think, right?
And
Oklahoma
they're
here
playing.
at Temple.
Did you say
They're
they're
playing
playing
here.
Howard? They're
No,
playing How
Temple's playing Howard
Yes.
today, but
Yes.
next week they
Oh,
play
next week you're
Oklahoma
saying.
here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
next week they play Oklahoma. That's got to be a 20-point. It's got to be. I was being sarcastic that Oklahoma's looking ahead today with their big
I
game
understand.
to Temple. Temple.
Yeah, you're going to look at a good 17 to 20 point line in the football game. Temple got out to that pretty nice start. It depends upon how much they roll past Howard in this football game here today, and what Oklahoma does here today as well. But they're going to be an improved team also. You got two teams, I think, on the uptick there. I'm going to throw this out here, Howard, before we switch gears here. There's another game on the card I think a person has to look at, and you've got kind of an odd schedule. You've got West Virginia going into Ohio University. And you don't
Mhm.
find too very often Power Four conferences going into being the visiting team at a MAC school, sort of like Temple hosting Oklahoma. It's sort of
Mhm.
like a Morgan Wallen concert being played at a community center. You don't find that a team like this going into Ohio University. West Virginia is doing just that. I think it's a huge game for Ohio University, who can play. And West Virginia got out to the big start last week. You got to take a look at Ohio University plus against West Virginia this week.
What's that number?
Right now, I'm seeing.
I'm
Let me
looking
get
at
my
it too. I'm
glasses
trying.
here.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it too.
We we almost featured it in the newsletter last week, or this week, I should say, and didn't. I
West
clicked.
Virginia. It's only 3.5 at Ohio.
Well, that's a
It's
lot of
only
respect there. A lot of
Yeah,
respect
right.
because
That
Ohio you
line
can play.
that line might be telling you something.
Yes,
The
that's
way
your.
what I like to say.
They can
Uh,
play. And,
yeah.
they're going to be a bowl team, Ohio U, and West Virginia is going to be prone to letdown in this football game.
All right. The other question is, if a team came off a big win as LSU did, do you think they kind of take their foot off the pedal a little this week, and they're probably not playing anybody any good? So you make sure that you surround yourself with high school teams after big games. I'm trying to look to see who LSU is playing, but it can't be a good team. But nonetheless, is it good to go against that team after a big win the previous week?
Well, I'll tell you where we are right now because we're into what is basically game two for most teams in college football this season here. There's a bigger, better situation when you play against teams who were bowl teams last year and got beat in their first game. They come up flat as a pancake the next game. They have a real difficult time getting it up the second week after tripping up the first week. You've got Texas. They're going to lay a mountain against San Jose State, as a for instance. They were all geeked up for Ohio State, uh,
Right.
winning the football contest. How can they get up for San Jose State this week and cover an enormous number like they can do that? We featured it in our newsletter this week about how it's called Bowler Blues and how these teams who were bowl teams last year trip up in game one, how flat they come in game two. There's 20 of them on the card today. So if a person has the time, look at the card, look at the teams that were bowl teams last year and lost, and make a case to play against them.
Well, Clemson would be another one of those
Yes, they
teams,
would.
right?
Yes, they
Yeah.
would.
Clemson would
Exactly.
be a team. By the way, LSU is a 37.5 point favorite against Louisiana Tech. I don't know if you even want to get involved in the game. There's no way you could take LSU today.
Well,
That
there's
would
another case of a redheaded stepchild, if you will. Louisiana LSU being the big brother in the state, Louisiana Tech, the little guy. Obviously, this is going
right.
to be their game of the year for Louisiana Tech, and LSU again look to come flat in what I would call a redhead stepchild letdown game.
All right. So now let's take a look at the NFL. And who do you like on Sunday?
I'm going to play a couple of dogs here that both have double revenge, divisional dogs against favorites that I look to regress this year from what they did last year. And I think you can get full advantage, full value in games like this. But first is going to be the New York Giants. That's a
Yeah.
healthy number to take 6 points against Washington. We know we've got an improved commodity here with the Giants here, and I think
Yep.
Washington goes backwards this year. They surprised everybody. Jaden Daniels had a great year, but he was a rookie, man, and now all of a sudden there's film on him, and they're gonna know what to do when Jaden Daniels is on the loose, if you will, per se. And look at Washington, the other side; they're horrible, just absolutely horrible as a division home favorite. You look at them I think it's the last 15 times they've only won 3 games straight up. This is a role Washington does not handle. I think the Giants plus the 6 is a solid side in the game.
Okay, who else do you like?
The other guy's going to be Monday night, Chicago Bears against Minnesota. You've got Minnesota here now. J.J. McCarthy making their debut for the Vikings. Another aspect of the game is Minnesota won 14 games last year. And you and I have often talked about how NFL teams that win 13 or more games in one season really struggle in the first game of the next season. Take a look at Kansas City last night and what they did. Even for all intents and purposes, the Eagles struggled against the Dallas Cowboys. You could say that. They just don't get the money. And you've got that in this case, in this situation, in this contest here as well with Minnesota. You got an edge here, if you can believe it. Caleb Williams in this football game against J.J. McCarthy. Williams has the experience. You got Ben Johnson, the head coach. Chicago went out, the big hire they made. I think the wrong team is favored here, and as long as I can get Chicago plus the points, I think I got to make that a play as well.
Well, and then J.J. McCarthy, this is his first NFL start.
Right.
I mean, he's got to
Exactly.
be a little on a Monday night football game. He's
Yes.
got to be. He's got to be nervous.
Absolutely.
It's just so. All right. So, are there any? You mentioned there's no other double revenge games from last year, right? Although I will say this, it's a revenge game from the last time Baltimore played Buffalo.
Yes.
Baltimore lost in the playoffs. So this is their next game. We forget about the preseason nonsense. This is their next game since that loss last year. Do you factor in that at all?
Absolutely. Major revenge. They lost in the AFC Championship game, outplayed Buffalo in the contest. And, here you got this chip on the shoulder for Lamar Jackson, losing the MVP to Allen. He's going to come in there with everything that he's got in the contest. I love Baltimore. I liked them when they were the dog. They opened up the dog. Now they've gone to the small little favorite of -1
really?
here. But I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you how I play this is when you get games like this, I just laid Baltimore -120 on a money line rather than laying 1 or 1.5 points in the football game and get tripped up by a 1-point contest. So I like Baltimore on the money line against Buffalo. I think they get their revenge.
Yeah. All right. So that's a revenge from the last game. No other team. I remember, I don't know how many years ago it was. New Orleans played in the playoffs. I forget who they played. And the next game after the last game of the season was the playoff game. You don't want to win unless you have to before you go. And the same team, I think New Orleans won the last game and then they lost in the playoffs. That might have been 7 years ago, but I'll never forget that when you play a team twice in a row. And it obviously doesn't happen in the NFL, but the NFL is pretty cute what they do. Sometimes they'll put a game in between a division matchup because it's even difficult if the team's decent to win both games when you play twice within 3 weeks. Do you agree or not agree?
That's a great point, especially when you're opening up the new season with the team that sent you home the last season here, which is the case, obviously, in the Baltimore game against Buffalo. You call it a right back rematch. The calendar gets in the way a little bit, but it's what Baltimore had to sleep with all off season long. Buffalo sending them home, and now they get to open up and take their vengeance out against them. It's a real good point.
And I don't know that Baltimore's not, in this case, Baltimore's not the better team. I think they're the two best teams in the AFC, but I'm not so sure that Baltimore's not the better team.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if these two teams aren't back in that same AFC championship game here again this year. And John Harbaugh is a master at revenge also. You don't take him out consecutive times too many times. He's really, really good at getting his teams back up in revenge situations. So you've got a lot working here for Baltimore. You have to beat Buffalo at home here. Obviously, it's not an easy task, but you've got all the right ingredients for Baltimore in this game on Sunday.
I see somebody on the chat lines talking about Cleveland, and I don't know. I can't understand why Cleveland is getting all those points. What's it, 5.5 at home against Cincinnati? Cincinnati's not a I mean, they got a great quarterback, but they're not a great team. Do you like a side in that game?
Yeah, I have to go to Cleveland here, Howard. A couple of reasons. Number one, they were the worst team in the league last year in net turnovers, and teams that fill that role always bounce back up closer to the norm the next year, and they improve their record. And the Browns will improve their record this season largely because of that. You've also got the division rivalry here. Joe Burrow just has fits against the Browns in Cleveland. He's only beat them one time in his career in Cleveland, and they start out slow as molasses, do the Bengals to begin every football season here. You got to grab the points with Cleveland. Maybe hold your nose with a clothespin and grab the points with the Browns here.
You know, and Kevin Stefanski is a good, and I know that's an emphasis for him. He knows uh, that they turned the ball over. I think they led the AFC in turnovers last
Yes,
year,
they
right?
led the league. They led in net turnovers. Yes, they led the league.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So uh, it's an emphasis on that. There's an awareness now of that. If they don't turn the ball over, there's no way that Cincinnati doesn't cover. No way that Cincinnati covers that 5.5 points. You
You
would
know,
agree with that,
it sort of goes to the what happened down here in Miami with Miami of Florida. Carson Beck, their new quarterback, when he was at Georgia, they led the country in drop passes last year when he was their quarterback. The kid didn't stand a chance. He goes to Miami, not one pass was dropped in their big win over Notre Dame. You play a clean game, you got a really good chance to win the game.
All right. Christian McCaffrey is questionable. This guy, it's too bad. He's a great, I mean, a really multi-purpose back, but he's always hurt now. And there's a chance that he won't play. So the line has dropped a little bit. You might have liked Seattle anyway, but even now I think it's down to a 1.5. Do you like a side in that game?
I like Frisco in the game. Not crazy about McCaffrey being
Yeah.
out again. I mean, it's almost expected every week he's on the injured list or rumored
Right.
to be
Yeah.
in and out. It's a shame because he's such a talented athlete the way that he is. But I like Frisco. I'm a big fan of Shanahan to bounce back. They do one thing better than anybody in the National Football League, and that's pound the ball down your throat. They'll run it more often than any other team will, and he'll do just that. It's a tough spot here, Seattle on the road, maybe with a banged up injured team here, but I would side with Frisco in the game.
All right. And next week, and check the numbers. I'm going to save that for next week. When a team starts 0-2, their percentages of making the playoffs and their percentages of getting the number one seed. Number one seed is probably almost impossible. That would be Kansas City. That's a tough game. I imagine Kansas City is going to be favored against the Eagles next week. I don't think the number's out yet, but they'll probably be a small favorite.
Well,
Wouldn't
you're
you
going to
think?
read a lot about how good Patrick Mahomes is as an underdog if he's not. Okay, that's all you're going to read about his terrific record in his career with the Chiefs taking points, and deservedly, he should be taking points. Philadelphia is the better football team, but they're going to handicap this game. The odds makers will, because of that fact you just mentioned here. Will the Chiefs open up 0-2 to start the season? Not
Uh,
likely. So I'd say right now between you and I, next week we're going to call a game a pick 'em. Okay.
Okay. All right. If people have interest in Mark services, 800-321-7777 on the internet at playbooksports.com. Mark, have a great weekend. I see somebody on the chat line says that the Eagles are a 1.5 favorite. So
There you
we'll
go.
see.
We'll
We'll
see
see.
how it settles out. Right. Exactly.
All right. And the playbook's still available. Just get in touch with you, and the playbook's still
Yeah,
available. It's
just
got all
go,
kinds of stats and
yeah,
all
go to
kinds
the
of stuff in it.
website, just download it. Lots of good games in there.
Okay. All right, Mark. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again next week.
Likewise, Howard, enjoy the games and go Temple. Okay.
Yeah. If they don't beat Howard, go Temples. You better say that next week. All right, Mark. Have a great
All
weekend.
right. Be well.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. So you got the picks. All right. I'm going to get to. I want to talk to the people about obviously the Eagles game, and we're going to get to that. And I think there's some people up, and I don't know if they've been patiently waiting. Joe, do we have anybody that it's still on there with their audio, at least their audio? Uh, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding! This guy will wait. If I had him wait a week, a week or 5 years, he'd still be there. because he wants to talk about how the Cowboys lost, right? And you're going to tell me you're going to tell me it's moral victories, right, Nitwit?
First of all, your narrative was wrong about the Cowboys. They don't suck. Okay. They went into Philadelphia under all those circumstances, under all that Micah Parsons talk, and everybody sucks. And
I told you I think they're better without Micah Parsons.
Well, okay, but you're always saying that they suck and the Eagles are going to blow them out, and you always say that kind of stuff. Look what they did.
No. Here, I was very, very clear. I didn't like laying the points. If you had to take it, you had to take the points, and I liked the under, and both those sides were right. I didn't say they were going to blow them out. So don't put words in my mouth, or I'm going to kick your ass.
Look, they held Barkley to 60 yards. AJ, Devontae were non-existent. I mean, yeah, somebody said there on your chat there saying that it's a moral victory. Yeah, it's a moral victory. I feel good, but the Cowboys always find a way to lose in Philadelphia when they should have won.
I will say this. I think they're going to – I said this before the season. I think those two teams are going to split. So now I think the Cowboys will win. That's week 12. I think the Cowboys will win in
they were also missing their best defensive player in DeMarvion Overshown. He was missing. And I do think Micah Parsons, although I'm glad he's gone, would have made a little bit of a difference there in sacking Jalen. I think so.
No, well, I don't want to hear about your hypothetical bullshit. Really,
we'll listen to yours. We'll just listen to yours.
No. I will admit if I've said something, and I will admit if I said I think they were going to get blown out. I didn't think that. I thought it was going to be a tough game, and I actually put that up on my website when I put up the picks to give people picks. Which some create done. It was I just gave my opinion on the game.
All right, and as for this disgusting Eagle player spitting, you have to admit
he was wrong. He was wrong,
right? But anyone who blames Dak Prescott is a moron. Okay, Dak is a classy guy. He would never. He would never do anything.
I don't like him as a quarterback, but he is a classy guy. I will admit that.
And I have to say that Dom has a tough job. I tell you what, having to deal with that kind of stuff, that poor guy.
Yeah, but the players don't go against that.
Now, and one more thing here. Merrill Reese said it should have been a 15-yard penalty. Do you agree with that?
I don't know what the rules are, so I can't tell you.
Well, he's just saying it should have been more of a slap on the wrist. But I'm sorry. But
he's saying it shouldn't have been.
It should have been. No, Merrill said it should have been a 15-yard penalty.
On Jalen Carter.
On Jalen Carter.
So what was it? Only 5?
Well, no, he got kicked out of the game. I'm just saying he's saying that he should not have been kicked out of the game.
You see, I'm sure because it was on national. It was the first game of the season, and they probably had help from New York. If it was a 15-yard penalty. I don't know that Merrill, I love Merrill, but I don't know that he knows the rules. If it was a 15-yard penalty, they would have given him 15 yards. So what the hell's the difference?
So we got disgusting Eagle players. We have a disgusting Phillies fan down in Miami stealing a ball from a kid. I mean, come on, what's going on in Philadelphia? Get your acts together. Goodbye.
Well, no, hold on. What? That was not the woman bitched at the guy for giving the ball to her kid. So the guy.
No, he just went over and grabbed it just like any other fan would. She thinks that because she's sitting in that spot, the ball came to her, it should be hers. Okay,
well, so apparently she wasn't sitting in that spot because after it was all over, I saw her walk back up the stands. So, hey, when the ball bounces on the ground, it's whoever gets the ball. I mean, it's a free for all.
Well, but the Marlins did a nice job. They did a really nice job.
Yeah, they had him, and Bader obviously gave the kid an autograph and gave him a bat and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the Marlins did do a nice job. All right, Nitwit. So we still have our bet. You said the Cowboys are going to win the division, right?
Yes, they are.
Didn't we have a bet on the first game?
No, we did not.
Okay. No, anytime I make a bet, it's for charity anyway.
Yes, I know that, and I already owe you $100. So yes. It's double or nothing.
It'll be 200. All right. See you later, Nip.
See you later, moron.
You dope. All right, get out of here. All right. Do we have? I think we have another caller, and then I want to talk about Landon Dickerson. Do we have another caller, Jay? Okay, Barry. Barry, you're on with us on the Howard Eskin Show. How are you, Barry? Barry, Barry, what are you in a train station? We have audio, but Barry, can you talk to me? This is not that tough. All right. Tell Barry to get Barry. You got to get straightened out. We heard sound, but we didn't hear you. What do you have your phone, a mile away from you? All right. Let me deal with this. The Landon Dickerson thing. All right. Let's just deal with the Eagles defense. All right. They picked up a defensive end because Van Sumeren is out for the season, which is sad. Good guy gets hurt on the first play of the season after being hurt last year. You know, sometimes when guys get hurt, the guys get hurt. It's just so it's really sad. But they picked up a defensive end. Now they're not going to pick up that position because it's just a special team, and the guy they picked up might be a special teams player. They see that they have holes in their defense, and to their credit, they're going to go out and try to fix that. I don't know what they're going to do at one of the corner spots. I just think you got to move Cooper DeJean over to the corner spot. I think you've got to move Cooper DeJean. All right, before we get to somebody else and I get into Landon Dickerson, let me tell you our winner from last week of the Mike Schmidt autographed baseball, Tom Kafari. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Tom. And Tom apparently answered both the questions that I asked from what Seth Joyner said. He told us that, and this was my question, what did he say? Pertaining to Buddy Ryan, and also another point about the Giants. Before Buddy got fired, he told Seth Joyner that they were going to improve their offensive line. So, Tom, you got that right. And here's another thing I'm going to correct that somebody pointed out, and I didn't check it out, but I assume this person was right. He also said once they lost the Fog Bowl, Lawrence Taylor said the Giants knew they would win the Super Bowl after the Eagles lost the Fog Bowl. Well, let me just tell you something. The Giants didn't win the Super Bowl that year. The Giants did not. Somebody pointed out it was San Francisco. It just did not win the Super Bowl. So another Seth, when Seth Joyner makes a mistake, I'm going to correct him on it. So we have somebody on the line here. Does he have audio? At least, is this Jerry? Okay, Jerry, you have video but no audio. I don't want to read lips, so I'm not going to read lips. You got to allow the audio. I'm telling you, I don't understand. This is not that hard. I'm telling you, a first grader, really, and I'm not going to rip you once you get on. A first grader could do this. Once you click on the link, it says allow to join, something to the effect of allow your microphone and your camera. So allow that. If you don't want to allow the camera, don't allow the camera. But then once you get on, if you see a red line through the microphone, it's shaped like a microphone, by the way, in case you don't know. If you see a red line, click on it, and it will allow you to have audio as well. The other thing I want to point out, by the way, we're going to have a Chickies and Pete's gift certificate this week, and I'll ask a question towards the end of the show to win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. All right. There was a T-shirt. There was, by the way, and when you answer the question, go to my website, howardeskin.com. By midnight on Tuesday, you got plenty of time to answer this one. And I will pick a winner at random from the correct answers, and you will win, and we will announce it. The show obviously is on X, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to YouTube, and you'll be notified when the show comes on live, but you'll be able to find the show as well. All right. There was a T-shirt that that Jaylen Carter was wearing, and I don't know why you would wear that T-shirt. My first year being rich. Don't people know you're rich? I think that's kind of obnoxious. We know that players make too much. They really make too much money. They're making a lot, and they say, oh, they deserve it for them and their family. How much money do you need for your family? But whatever. All right, George, I know you figure out the camera, you figure out the microphone. Tell people it's not that difficult. You tell
Camera
people
on. When the line's through it, you hit it to turn it on. When the volume is red and the line's through it, you hit it in the volume. Fifth graders can do that. I'm going to be like you with our sarcasm. Fifth graders can do this, guys. Come on.
Yeah, it's just it's just Jason said, what does he say? Have to go to settings, then the app, Facebook, and allow the microphone.
The only thing everybody's got to remember, and I had to do this, is you have to be in Safari. Make sure you're in Safari because I had to get in.
So their phone, their
through
computers might not be on Safari.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the only stickler. So, that's it.
Okay. All right. So what did you think about the Eagles defense and the scary game? By the way, if CeeDee Lamb catches that ball, which he should have caught, the Eagles lose the game.
They lose the game. But
yeah, because they're going to go in
defense credit, Howard. The second half, after losing Carter, which I'm like, good, you got to make adjustments. There's your best player. After Dallas scored in their first 4 drives, the Eagles defense held them the last 4 drives. Even with CeeDee dropping the ball, I got to give the team some credit there for adapting after.
Well, then you got to give Dallas credit because they only allowed 3 points
Correct.
in the second half.
Absolutely.
So they both, for whatever reason, and then because after the delay, nobody scored. After the weather delay. So that could have been a little bit of a factor. That could have been a little bit of a factor. But the reality is, okay, I'm going to give them credit, and they could have had some interceptions and coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Correct.
But if CeeDee Lamb catches that ball, it's inside. It's what 2.5 minutes left in the game. I think they'll run down the clock. I think they'll score a touchdown, and the Eagles only need a field goal. But nonetheless, everybody knows they're going to have to pass the football. So I don't know that they're going to win the game because they'll get the ball back with less than a minute to go and maybe no timeouts.
Correct.
And CeeDee Lamb obviously is a really good receiver. He should have caught that ball.
Howard, we've talked about this. I've said it to you a few times about the first 4 weeks. You know what? I've come to the conclusion about the first 4 weeks in the NFL. It's preseason for the starters. We're going to see some crappy football tomorrow. You know that. You see mistakes, penalties. But I agree with you. I mean, I don't like Kansas City losing yesterday. They're not going to lose next week. They are not going to lose. They're not going 0-2. Andy Reid's not going to go 0-2, and that's revenge. I don't see the Eagles winning next week. I don't.
Yeah, before the season started, I thought that was clearly one of the Eagles' losses because it's a revenge game really early in the season. And Patrick Mahomes, after the game last night, and this is disgraceful that this team came out that way. There's too many distractions for Kansas City. They allow the distractions. But he said, we didn't come out with the same energy as the Chargers. Well, that's unacceptable.
Correct.
That's unacceptable.
Well, they'll come out with that energy next week. You know that.
Yeah. It's just that's totally unacceptable.
Philly fan yesterday. Oh, my God, Howard. I watched that numerous times. That woman was crazy. Absolutely crazy. The father went over there to grab the ball. We all did it. If a ball sits somewhere, we all walk towards it. She felt like she was entitled. She was sitting. Looked like she was sitting there. Now I've heard that wasn't her seat, but she got all that. It was watching 2 Philadelphia fans. That's all we need nationally. You know what I mean? As a fan base. And I'm glad that Miami did the right thing and the Phillies did the right thing for that kid. The father was just getting a ball for his son. Lady, sit back down. Sit down. He looked foolish. And I'm saying, oh my God, here we go. Here goes the national media. Going to be, oh, look what we got here, Philadelphia fans. I'm like, oh, geez, here we go.
Well, but then the Phillies made it look good by Bader giving the kid stuff after and they took photos of it. But the thing is, I don't know what that woman was bitching about. Once that ball hits the ground, it's free game for everybody.
Season, basically.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so they got to stop. That woman had no right. Hey, listen, I thought that ball was mine. Who knows whether she even gave it to a kid? She probably just kept it for herself.
She walked out of the building.
That's almost like you saw the guy at the U.S. Open who grabbed the hat from the kid. Did you see that video?
I did not see that.
Okay, there was a player signing autographs. I don't know who the player was over in the stands. Went over to the stands, and he took his hat off and signed it and gave it to a kid, and the guy grabbed it
You gotta be kidding me.
away
You
and
gotta
then
be
put it in
kidding
his
me.
bag. Yeah, put it in his
Wow.
bag. The player heard about it and made sure the kid was taken care of. And the guy was outed. Everybody knows who the guy is now, and he looks like a complete ass.
Clown. There you go. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
a complete ass. So we both agree that I think the Eagles are going to struggle next week.
Well, I've told you that I think they're losing to Tampa too. They're going to be 2-2. They're going to be. And last year we know what 2-2 was like.
Tampa has some
Jump off the
injuries right
bridge.
now. Tampa has some injuries. So we'll see where they are in week 4. But Todd Bowles always does a great job in defending
Who do you like?
Jalen Hurts.
Phillies and Mets. How do you like that 4-game series?
It doesn't matter. I think they'll split it 2-2.
I'm thinking 2-2 in the head too.
Is it 4 games? It's a 4-game series?
It's 4.
Yeah.
It's 4. They're talking about it big time. I'm in New York territory, and Met fans are like, "Oh, we got you guys."
They're not, well, even if they win 3 out of 4, they still only pick up a game.
Correct.
Right, so it doesn't make any difference.
They need to focus. I tell my Met friends, you better focus on San Francisco.
They don't
right
pick
now.
up enough games, or they
better
pick up 2
worry
games.
about San Francisco right now, because you know what, they're getting hot at the right time, and we know what the National League was like the last 3 years with the last wild card season.
Well, yeah. Hey, the Cubs aren't a bad team either. I'd be curious to see if the Cubs get in it.
So Howard,
the Mets need to win to get into the playoffs now if the Cubs get hot. So
correct.
All right. Hey, George, I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for joining.
Have
Thanks
a good
for joining.
one.
All right, you too. All right, we have some other people that figured it out. Okay. All right, Chris, you're on. There we go. Chris, there you go, Chris. Chris, are you there? We thought you had your. This is not tough. Maybe it's me. You know what? I am going to bring in one of these shows. I bet you my girl from AI probably knows how to do that. You know what? Here's another thing. I'm going to ask. By the way, Landon Dickerson. I said I was going to get to this. He left with back problems. He had back problems in camp. He had the knee issue last year. Every game, he's a tough son of a gun, boy. He is really tough. It's almost like every game he comes out grimacing because something's hurt. And he's big and he's tough and it's a tough position. But he left with a back injury. You got to worry whether he comes back the next game or not. They have more time, a few extra days to get ready for the game. Whether he comes back or not, I think you have to worry. I think you have to worry about Landon Dickerson. I really think you have to worry about Landon Dickerson. You know what? I wonder if our girl from AI is thinking about next week's Eagles game. But if I see somebody on the chat with a question for our girl from AI, she laid out the concession. Oh, I tell you the comparison that she made on, and obviously accurate numbers, how badly you're getting ripped off at Eagles games with the concession. And I say ripped off. You are getting ripped off. When's enough? When's enough of making money? When is enough? And the fans are prisoners it's the only place they're going to get the food. And then with the delay, I can imagine they probably raked it in. Will Turner get 200 hits? I don't know. I think he got 4 hits last night. I don't know. I see it was it Dale? Was it Dale? It's Jeffrey. Will Turner get 200 hits? I don't know, but they need more hits from other people. They can't just keep on hitting home runs. I see Steve. Prices are a joke at the Eagles games. We know that. It's never enough. You're right, Jason. It's never enough. People that have money, and Aramark has money, it seems like it's never enough. I wonder if my girl from AI can look ahead. Let me ask her. Hey, do you have an opinion on next week's game, Eagles at Kansas City, where it looks like Kansas City will be a small favorite?
Kansas City's a small favorite. Yeah, like 1.5 points or so. But honestly, I'm leaning Eagles here. They've got Jalen Hurts playing lights out. Saquon Barkley's fresh off a monster opener, and that defense looks nasty. Chiefs? Mahomes is Mahomes, but their O-line's banged up, receivers are dropping like flies, Holmes suspended, Worthy nursing something, and Reed's play calling felt rusty Thursday. Posts on X are buzzing the same way. Folks are grabbing Eagles plus money already. I'd say Philly sneaks it, 24-21. What do you think?
Well, I think you're wrong on Saquon Barkley having a monster opener. He only gained 60 yards rushing. So I don't know if it was a monster opener. So I don't agree with you there on Saquon Barkley. But I think Kansas City wins the game because when you go 0-2, it's more difficult to make the playoffs.
Fair point. 60 yards isn't monster, but one touchdown off Dallas's defense, that's still efficient, especially when he trucked guys for a first down on that 5-yard catch and run. And yeah, 0-2 sucks, but Philly's not sweating it. They're built for comebacks. Chiefs, though, if Mahomes doesn't light up an Eagles secondary that just held CeeDee Lamb under 80, they'll stall. Last year, they lost 3 straight and bounced back fine. I'd bet Eagles flip the script here, maybe 23-20. Still think KC pulls it out?
I actually do, but it's going to be a tough game. They got to play better on defense. But I mean, it's desperation early in the season. I got another game for you. I got another game. One of my listeners and viewers, who do you like in the Commanders New York Giants game where the Commanders are 6.5-point favorites?
Commanders by 8. Easy, no sweat. They just shredded Philly's secondary with Daniels airing it out, and their D held Hurts to 1 TD. Giants? Wilson's rusty. That O-line's a joke. Let Detroit sack him 5 times last week, and neighbors can't catch ghosts. Washington's run game's gonna grind. Rodriguez pops one maybe 40 yards. 6.5's free money. Take it. Straight or tease it down if you're scared. Your listener's smart asking. Anyone saying Giants covers is dreaming.
Okay, I'm going to hold. I'm going to hold you to that, but some of those things aren't right. I'm going to hold you to that, and we'll see what happens, and we'll talk to you again. Thanks.
Deal. Call me back Monday. I'll be eating crow or bragging, one or the other.
Okay. It's crazy. It's crazy. Somebody said the lady must be using the new math. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, but the first week is always a dangerous. It really is. It's really a dangerous week. It just. All right. So, by the way, I will, as soon as we finish the show here, I'm going to post my picks, and I got to post my picks page. I'll have them obviously today and tomorrow, and I think I might have a pick for Monday night. But my picks page, Howard's Picks, you can find on the social media sites. I will post them as soon as we get off, and the money that you donate for the picks. Just let me tell you, the money that you donate for the picks goes to Brandywine Valley SPCA and Providence Animal Center. There you go. So I will post it shortly. I will have the picks. We'll take care of the doggies and at both, actually, dogs and cats, animals. It's animals, and they do a great job. The other thing I'm going to mention, and there's companies out there, and we lost one of our donors. We didn't lose him physically, but we lost one of our donors as a donor. I'd like to get a donor. You give so much each month, and I have a number. And if you get in touch with me at howardeskin.com, so much each month, and I have your company or your company, your service, whatever, up for the whole year. And take the donations for the 5 months, the first 5 months of the football season: September, October, November, December, and January. Let me see: September, October, November, December. We don't even take January. I'll just do it. Yeah, 5 months. So for 5 months. So get in touch with me at our website. And it's all for for those two places. Really, I think it's really important. So, uh, yeah. Yes. And I also want to thank, as I always do before I give you the question, Stillwell Financial Advisors. Jeff Stillwell will help you. I mean, the future is so uncertain, especially financially. So if you want to do something to make sure that your wealth works for you, Jeff Stillwell of Stillwell Financial Advisors can help you do that. There's his number, 732-343-0843. And you want to take care of your property. You want to make it look really special. Yep. Well, Piazza Property Pros can help you make it look really special when you have guests come over. Whether you want to build a pool, that makes it look special. Whether you want to do some landscaping, that makes it look special. Whatever you want to build into, whether it's a fire pit, it's a hot tub, whatever it is, they can do it for you. Piazza Property Pros knows their stuff with 25 years of experience, really knows their stuff, and they don't subcontract. So that's important to know that it's their people. It is their people doing the work for you. It is their people. Here's a number, and give them a call for a free consultation. I say free because some of these companies don't give you a free consultation. 610-566-2608. 610-566-2608, or check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. And I'm going to tell you, if you want a great deal, when I say a great deal on a vehicle, on an automobile, right now at Audi Westchester, the new 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron for $499 a month. When I was over there yesterday, they told me a lot of people are coming in, and I talked to a couple of them. They really love this deal. So the Q6, the electric cars, and this is not going to last long because also the tax credits on electric cars is going away based on the latest, the latest nonsense out of our government. It's going away at the end of the month, but $5,295 down for the Q6, and for the Q4, $399 a month. That's $4,156 down, plus taxes and registration fees. Audi Westchester, you'll have some fun. Grab a cup of coffee, grab a snack. 1421 Wilmington Pike. It's fun looking at new cars, and the people there are really nice, and they'll really take care of you. 2025 Q6 e-tron, $499 a month, or the Q4 for $399 a month. Check it all out on their website, AudiWestchester.com. I saw a comment. I see. Well, first, before we get to the comment, Slagger57, good job. I adopted cats, and what I'm saying about it's important. It really is important to help in any way because they help. But it's important that people donate. And like I said, the pics will go up shortly. Chris, you're a big time animal lover. Yeah, I mean, it's just, who isn't? Who isn't? But the Landon Dickerson, somebody made a comment. I would worry about that. I would worry about that. And the other thing, when you saw the banner drop at the game, how disappointed were you that the players weren't out there? It's just, how disappointed were you? I would be a little disappointed, and I don't think it would have affected the players' play one way or the other. All right. So, all right, let's come up with a question to win the Chickies and Pete's gift certificate. I had mentioned what Jalen Carter's T-shirt had said after which I think it's kind of obnoxious. Submit your response to my website, howardeskin.com, by midnight Tuesday, September 9th. And on Wednesday, when we do the show, and by the way, our guest on the show, former umpire who nobody likes a little tiny bit, and that would be Joe West. They don't like him a little tiny bit. But Joe's got some great stories. I'm going to have him on Wednesday. But submit the answer. You can watch us live on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube, and you will be notified when we come on live. And you can always find the show. Winner randomly chosen from the correct entries. But let me see if there's anybody else. You know what? I'm gonna. Okay. I'm going to conduct a class. Maybe I should conduct a class and put out the video for you people to how to click on the last caller or the last person to try to get in. To try to click on, you got to have at least audio. And George brought up a good thing. You got to open up Safari, and we'll explain that too. It's just I don't understand why this is so difficult for people. But then again, a lot of things are difficult for people. I wonder how many people know that the Eagles won the game on Thursday night. But nonetheless, all right. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. Today's college games. Tomorrow's pro games. And next Wednesday, the next time that we will be on. And it just enjoy it. Just have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not trying hard enough. Thanks to Joe Gangemi for producing the show, Tony Anastasia for the graphics and a lot of the other things that she does. Thank you. And we'll see. Next week's game, we'll talk to Marc Lawrence next Saturday. I'm curious to see what's going to happen to the line this week. When's the last time that the Chiefs have been an underdog at home? Possibly could be. All right. Have a great weekend. Take care and enjoy it. And thanks for joining the Howard Eskin Show.